Hello, everybody, and welcome to another with LawSikho, your daily dose of legal updates in various confusions that you might have, and it might not necessarily work out for you, and you might think that quitting at this point of time is probably the right option. I was in the same shoes. I've graduated from National Law University, and sorry, when I was in my law school, I thought that I should probably choose something else. And 6 months I was working for a multinational company, and after 6 months I decided that no, this is not working out for me, and I opted to get a job at IT Leaders, my current job. I'm working as the content marketing manager for IT Leaders, wherein I create various content for the company, and we write on various legal issues related to law. And in the past 6 months, I have worked out on more than 100 articles I've published in my name. And presently, I am doing this webcast called An Hour with LawSikho for all of you. So today, till the time Ramanuj joins, and hopefully he joins us at a later point of time, let's talk about an alternative career option or various alternative career options that are available for our students. No, we don't have to do that anymore. Ramanuj is here with us. Hi, Ramanuj. Thank you so much for joining at the last minute. We were just about to talk about alternative career options for law students, but now we don't have to do that anymore. We will get back to talking about how to build your CV. Thank you so much for joining us today on An Hour with LawSikho.
Hi, hi everyone. How to build your CV in college? That's the topic. And so basically, CV building is something in college that people are pretty about, and there's a lot of time that people spend planning their CV and thinking about CV building, and it's pretty much something that you know. That occupies a lot of mind space for people. And why so is basically everybody is, like we say that people are CV conscious these days. They're like, they want to, anything they do, they want to bring it down to like a point or two in their CV, like, anything, any participation, anything they want a certificate so that they can showcase that, they have success in something, or that certificate becomes very important. And it is also a highly criticized culture in law schools, and not so much in law colleges but law schools, that people are becoming very CV driven. They are doing everything for their CV, and sometimes things become reduced to like oversimplified, like you are putting too much time, effort, money into just getting something which is you can write in your CV, as opposed to a real experience, a real learning, a real result basically. And that's something obviously another side of CV building. But what I want to start with is that CV building should not be like a passion or a culture. It's something that needs to be thought through. It is something that needs to be worked upon. It is something that you plan over a period of time. But at the same time, it should not be like a obsession. And we must remember that the purpose is for, it's not like that you have to have it, your CV is less important, you are more important. Like what you bring on the table is not just a CV. You must bring on the table a lot more than that in terms of skills, capability, knowledge, maybe good relationships around you, good behavior, good, a positive vibes, positive, like there are many things that you must bring on the table. And a CV is a way to
I think we
represent yourself.
Ramanuj, we lost your connection for a bit. Can you please come again?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah.
I'm saying that a CV is something that represents you. It, in a nugget, it tells about who are you. It tells your story, what kind of person you are, what you have been spending your time on. It gives a sense about that, but it should not become something that is, basically the person behind the CV has to be bigger than the CV. Like it should not be just exercise to write things on a piece of paper. It is actually you becoming more capable, you becoming more, you increasing your capacity. you increasing your ability to get things done, you having the right skills and the right knowledge and the right kind of insights you have to bring on the table. So when we talk about CV building, I want to make sure from the get-go that it's something that, like, you keep in mind that it's about you got to do amazing things, and then you get to write amazing things on your CV, and do not just do things for the sake of the CV. It's a very dangerous situation, which is a trap that a lot of people fall into. So if you do that, you might end up with a decent CV, but at the same time, you'll end up with less than optimum results in your life. So you'll have a problem. Sometimes we meet people who have a fantastic CV, but when you sit across in an interview with that person, or you ask that person to work on something, you realize that there is no match between the CV and the person that you're talking to. That is a very bad situation. So that must be avoided.
So, Ramanuj, you said that CV building presently is becoming more or less an obsession amongst the law students of the country. Why do you think CV building is important in the first place? Why do you think that people are going bonkers about doing something or the other and make their CV stand out?
For a student, they really, you know, the CV is like very much an important part of the life of a student. I totally understand why a hardworking, ambitious student will focus a lot on their CV. I'm not saying that do not focus on your CV. I'm saying that focus on your CV, but focus on your skills and abilities more. Now that is number one. But second is that why they are doing it is because how do you get an internship? You send a CV and you get shortlisted and you get a call. At least that is how people think internship works. Okay, that is one. What else is there? How do you get an how do you get a job? How do you get shortlisted for an interview? You send your CV, people look at it, and then they like your CV. Then they say, okay, we want an interview with you, right? So before you go, you send your CV, and based on the CV, sometimes you are given an opportunity to be heard, an opportunity to give an interview, an opportunity to do an internship. So obviously, CV is very important, and it is totally understandable if some people are obsessed about creating a great CV, and you should be. You want to succeed in life. You got to do a lot of things that makes you stand out, and you need to write it in the. You need to project it in the right way in your CV. That is the critical part of it, right? Even if you have done great things, but you cannot actually show that on your CV, then you will probably lose out. Now, I would encourage you to think of your CV as a story about yourself. Okay, there's a story you want to tell to somebody who's going to open your email or maybe a printed CV. They'll just see it for maybe 30 seconds, and then they'll decide whether to pass on it or to give you an opportunity. So that's the short time that somebody looks at your CV when they're shortlisting. And there's no point uh, sending a CV which is not going to impress that person, right? So naturally, people are obsessed, and how you got to do that is, uh, you know, tell a story which is consistent about yourself to the recruiter. So, for example, if you're applying for a tax law job, right? There is no point writing too much about what you did in a family law court. You interned with a corporate lawyer. These are less relevant. What is relevant is your credibility.
We lost you for a couple. Can you please come again and talk about if you're applying for a tax law job, what after that?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you're applying for a tax law job, then it cannot be approach. The story you tell has to be about tax law. Okay, so it's about when did you intern with tax lawyers? You should have written some articles about tax law. You should have attended maybe some tax law conferences. The idea is that whatever you write, you try to show the connection between you and tax laws. Like, what is you need to show that over a period of time you have an interest in tax laws. You have been thinking about tax laws. You have been writing about tax laws. You have been studying tax laws. Then your grade in tax law class should be decent, right? Otherwise, the story is not consistent. Now, what mistake people do is that while telling the story of tax law, they will start, instead of writing about tax law, they'll write that I did a great internship with a lawyer in a family law court. But that is not relevant. That is not relevant to the story. You are basically ruining the story of how you are dedicated to tax by telling the story of of your affair with family law, which is not relevant here. Or you are telling a story of tax law, but then you uh, write a huge paragraph on an corporate law internship you have done. Okay, so that makes the recruiter think that this person seems more interested in corporate law. He has done all corporate law internships. Suddenly he's coming to tax law. That means he didn't get a job in corporate law, so he's just trying for anything randomly right now. That is not a good story to tell a recruiter, right? So you don't go with the CV, but the CV tells a story to the recruiter, and there is nobody to explain. You're not going to explain a problem in the CV, right? So you have to write it in such a way that it tells a story to the recruiter, which is a consistent story, which is a story that makes them interested in you, and that should be the approach.
All right, but Ramanuj, what you're saying stands very true. But however, there's a huge problem in the process because there are a lot of people who come with a very diverse form of experience who have interned in 10 different things during their 10 different internships, and thus for them to figure out that one genre, which could probably be the specialization point of their CV story, could not be present at all. Then how do they go about projecting a specific expertise or specialization over something that they've done over a period of time if their CV is very diverse?
So if you are not building, see, you can have a diverse CV. Like when I was applying for jobs, for my day zero interviews in NUJS, I literally had so many diverse things on my CV, like things I could write. I'll give you an example. I have worked with a historian, Ramachandra Guha, and I have translated Bengali books into English for him so that he can, do his research. I have helped him like do research in the National Archives, and I am very proud of the work I have done there. Okay, but when I apply to corporate law firms, should I write about this? What do you think, Aditya?
Well, if you put it in a way that you can do certain translation work and you can do high scripting, you can create content of high quality, then I don't see why not. It could be, it can
Absolutely
given
not.
it
Law
can.
firms are not interested in that. Trust me. A law firm, when they're hiring somebody like fresh graduates from a law college or law school or from their internship, do you? If I tell them the story that I interned with Ramchandra Guha, you know what they'll think? They'll be like, "You seem to be very academically minded." So maybe you will, you have a real interest in history. Like, do you really have that much interest in corporate law? It's a cognitive dissonance. The moment you are saying, I want a job in a corporate law firm, but you're talking with a lot of pride about some other thing you have done which has no connection with corporate law, what is going to happen? And this is not only in the CV, it starts in the CV, it must continue even in your interview. Your interview must be something where you are consistent in the story that you're telling and the connection with the job that you're trying to get. So what happened, one of my senior batches, there was this senior of mine I used to respect her very much, and she's a great person, like fantastic person. But what happened is that she went to give an interview with a corporate law firm in day zero. And what she said to them is that, what is your favorite area of law? Family law. Okay. Well, how do you think the interview went after that?
Uh, I have nothing to say to that. It must be a terrible idea for sure.
Yeah, so, but if this is a terrible idea, I hope you understand that it is also a terrible idea when you are writing in your CV that I have done 3 family law internships, 1 criminal law internship, and you have written, long chunks of text about what you did in that criminal internship. What did you do in the, you were a judicial clerk. What did you do there? So first of all, by writing all this, you're taking away space from talking about your corporate law chops. Or if it is tax law, then your tax law skills and knowledge and your articles. How many articles you can write? Many. You can, maybe you have written 30 articles in your life. But are you going to mention all of them? If you, a lot of people, what in some class 12th, class 10th, they're proud of it, and they keep writing these things. NCC, national level, fired a submachine gun. Like, this is not relevant in a corporate law job, right? By writing that, you're not increasing your chance of getting that job. Trust me. You may be very proud of it. So that's a problem. We are proud of what we have done and nothing to take away. Even today, I'm proud that I worked with Ramachandra Guha. I think, I did some fantastic work and I came in touch with a great man. Got a, I saw his intellect from close quarters. It's fantastic. Like, I loved the experience, right? And even today, if I drop a mail to him, he'll respond, and I consider myself fortunate to have that experience. However, that is not, it's not a smart thing to go and talk about it when I'm giving interview to Luthra and Luthra or Amarchand or something like that, because they don't appreciate this. For them, it looks like risky. If you are doing all these things, what are you up to really? I had done a lot of work with IMS at that point of time. Okay, if I was almost doing a second job on the side, apart from my class, I was earning a significant amount of money. I was doing very important work. I was managing a team of 20 people. But I cannot go and say that in my corporate law interview, they'll get very scared to take me. Even if they find me great, this will be a red flag for them. They'll be like, this person seems to be too much entrepreneurial and he's going to run away. And you can't tell that story. Like, if you tell that story, then you are making it difficult for them to pick you. So when you write your CV, you must keep this in mind. Okay, if I am applying to a think tank for an internship or a job or for a scholarship, whatever, I'll be writing all my academic achievements, where I have published articles, and I will mention those articles which are more academic in nature. I'll mention my internship with Ramchandra Guha. I'll write more than the internship. I'll write every piece of work I've done for him. Right? I'll describe in detail, and I'll downplay my corporate law experience there. Okay, because if it is relevant, let's say for a think tank, it may be relevant that I have experience of doing M&A or I have experience of doing investment law. So there it may be relevant, but I will only put those things which are relevant and consistent. I need to tell one beautiful story about why my entire life has led up to this one job. Okay, whatever the CV is, or whatever purpose it is, you describe in your CV as if your entire life has been inevitably leading up to this job, right? Everything you have done is connected to this. Everything else which doesn't fit into the story must go, no matter how proud you are about it.
So, Ramesh, so is it also possible that we mention the achievements that we're extremely proud of, but not highlight them and highlight the relevant areas of what the recruiter is
Why
looking
even
for?
mention? Don't even mention. See, first of all, your CV should not be more than 2 pages. Okay, and in those 2 pages, what I would do is that, say, if I know that I am aiming for a tax law job, like how do I specialize, right? You're asking this question. How do I specialize? There has to be some amount of thinking that is happening ahead of time. Okay. The problem with people is that they decide I want a tax law job and I need it next month because I'm graduating in 2 months. That doesn't work. Or I have corporate law jobs for the last 1 year and now I'm not getting, so let me give a shot to tax law. That is a bad strategy. The thing is that you have enough time. Usually when you're in college, hello, hello.
Ramanuj, we lost you there. You're talking about the
Ah,
strategy.
yeah. What I'm saying, Aditya, is that in every person who's in college, you actually have time on your side. Okay. What do I mean by time on your side? Is that you have a lot of time. We see usually that law students or college students believe that, oh, I am so busy, I have so much work, I have so many assignments, how will I do it? But it is all bullshit. Okay, like the work you're doing is now, like what you're doing in college is like playing in the sandbox. Okay, and you know, it's like I would compare, it's like gully cricket. You're playing gully cricket, very casual, no, not much pressure, nothing. You're playing gully cricket. When you actually join a job, when you are doing your work, it will be like, Ranji Trophy compared to that, right? Now, from gully cricket to Ranji Trophy, understand the difference in, quality and the amount of work you have to do, amount of dedication you have to provide, amount of time you give to what you're doing. Very crucial. And time is on your side. You have a lot of free time if you are smart about if you are able to discipline yourself and focus yourself on productive things. You have a lot of time. So how do you use this time? So let's say, I'll give you an example. Okay, so my classmate and flatmate for a long time, when I first joined my job uh, in Trilegal after NUJS, my flatmate was Deepak Raju, and he is a very close friend of mine. And you know what happened? By the time he in his first year, he did an arbitration moot. Then he started getting interested in arbitration. By third year, he started a arbitration law blog, and he started contributing articles in other blogs. He got together a group of people. They all started writing on arbitration law, and then from then onward, it was about arbitration, right? So his focus was always on arbitration law. Now, what happened because of this? That when he graduated, he actually did not get a job in arbitration. He got a job in transactional law, and then he got specifically in the SEBI team of a big law firm, right? So financial regulatory team. He got a job there. So his job was not arbitration. But soon everybody in the law firm found out that this guy knows a lot about arbitration, and the people in the arbitration team will contact him for his opinion on questions about arbitration law. Okay. Now that is the power, and it happens. If he applied for jobs, he would get it. When he applied for LLM, he again focused on arbitration. So since almost from third year, he has been like, I am interested in arbitration. Let me focus, and he kept. Does that mean that he did not know anything about other laws? No, he knew. There are other things also he has done, but there has been a consistent focus on one area of law. And I'm not saying that you need to specialize very early on in your career, right from the law school. This is not what I'm suggesting. But you must have one favorite area. Like almost in all three interviews or almost four interviews I have given with law firms, in each one I have been asked this question: what is your favorite area of law? And I was prepared with a fabulous answer, because at that time I studied recently. I had studied a lot about structured finance. Okay, so I could tell them everything about structured finance that they also did not know, and then they were very impressed that this person is like fantastic. Like conceptual clarity is there. There is a knowledge. There is everything. So I'm not saying you also have to take an area like structured finance. And I had written a paper on structured finance. I had written on derivative regulations. So it showed, and I had written blog posts on derivatives, and this showed that I am not just, this is not just a fiction that, oh, I like structured finance, this is my interest area, to sound smart. That was not the case. Like I was consistently for at least 6 months, 1 year, I have been working on this area. So I knew stuff about it. I read books about it. I wrote things about it, so I knew things about it. So when there's a conversation, you can figure out whether the person is actually having some knowledge or he's just, bullshitting. So that's the crux here. And you got to develop in some area. You have to develop yourself like that. I loved family law. I absolutely love family law, but that doesn't mean that family law is going to save me my day in a law firm interview, right? So what? Like, I really loved family law. I scored well in it. I studied beyond my syllabus. That's not relevant here, right?
All right, Ramanuj, the next question that I'm going to talk about is a question that is coming from Tushar Verma. His question is, hello sir, I have applied to many law firms for an internship, but no company replied back. Is there anything wrong with my CV as I am having only 2 internships within a period of 3 years of law?
Okay, so I want to tell you this answer will have two different parts. Okay,
Sure.
in part one, I'll tell you about the mistakes you make in CV. So, we are a company that we get hundreds of applications every month, but we usually are able to reply to all those and give them an opportunity to write an article and then see the quality of the work and then decide who to take as an intern and who not to take as an intern. Okay. But what has happened is that we still get less applications compared to a law firm. Okay. So I was just talking to somebody at AZP the other day, and she told me that they are getting 50,000 to 90,000 applications in a month. I don't know where so many law students come from. Okay, 90,000 applications. They are not even opening. Like, see, I am not going to hire a person who sits here all day and reads. Like, I need probably 10 people to read through these emails, and I'm not interested. So one is that there are recommendations coming from here and there, then they're giving internships. Second is that if they have some slots free, they will, okay, I have 10 slots free, I'll open 10 random mails or 20 random mails. That is latest in my inbox. I'll just open them. And the moment I have like 10 decent people, maybe they look at, okay, are they from top national law universities or something like that, because they don't want to apply their mind and spend time, right? And this is not just AZP. This is like every law firm worth speaking of, that they're facing this problem, like thousands and thousands of applications coming from all over the country. What do you like? Why should they even bother with and spend their time to, you know, sift through this kind of volume of internship emails? So that is why you do not get reply, because nobody can reply to all the mails. And most companies, even if we, instead of getting few hundred, if we get few thousand, I'll stop replying. We are not going to reply to all emails after that. Like, none of my, it's not possible. It's not feasible, So maybe one possibility is that you're making mistakes in your CV, in which case companies like us will also reject you because you don't know how to write a subject line, you don't know how to draft a email. If you don't know how, because I will be asking you to research and write. If you cannot write an email, then how will you write articles that I expect you to write? So I'm not going to waste my time with you. And our company, we still reply saying rejected, but many people will not even bother to.
Ramanuj, before we move on to the next aspect of it, you just mentioned that email is extremely relevant. And here I also have a question from Sajal Jain, who wants to know that what is the role of a cover letter with a CV?
The role of a cover letter.
Let's talk about CV cover letter a little and try to figure out as to what are the general mistakes that people make in a cover letter, and how to go about it, how to ensure that a cover letter is attractive.
Yeah, so a cover letter is basically, it's just an accompanying letter, right? Where you are saying that, dear sir, I am so and so, I'm applying for this internship, I study in this college, and I'm in so and so year, and I am interested in an internship in this month. Maybe in the month of August, month of July, whatever, I want an internship. Okay. What I used to do for good measure is that I will also mention my 3 best achievements that is relevant. Okay. So if I am applying for a shipping law internship, shipping arbitration firm. Okay. Then I'll mention like one shipping article I've written, shipping law article I've published somewhere. I'll mention that. If I want that internship, by the way, then I'll write that article and I'll publish it before I send my application, right? Because I don't want to take chances. I want to make sure if they open my email, I get that, right? So what I'll do, I will write that article also before I send my, and I'll get it published. Sorry. Then I'll mention my top 3 achievements. Maybe I topped in class I topped in so and so subjects, if relevant to shipping arbitration. If it is family law, I'll not mention. But if it is like, okay, it is related to insurance, it is related to carriage law or air law or something like whatever is relevant, international trade law or law of the seas, then I'll mention that. Okay. Then I'll also mention that if I have done a great internship in a good law firm, I'll mention, okay, that I have interned in Sri Lamachand Mangaldas for 1 month in so and so. So it's like, then they don't have to think too much. They're like, this person was selected for internship at Sri Lamachand Mangaldas, so probably good guy. Okay, he scored highest in his class, or he's in top 5% of his class or 10% of his class. So academically oriented, decent person. Not like probably somebody who it gives them some confidence. I have written an article on the subject, then they're like, oh, this person has written on shipping law. So he has a genuine interest. He's not like just trying his luck everywhere, right? Relevant. So that enhances your chance of getting that job or getting that internship or getting that interview also. When you do this, for jobs also you should do cover letter, right? Along with the cover letter, of course, you attached a well-drafted CV, right? Apart from the CV, what you do is you also include you can include that article that you mentioned. Okay, so you can, download a PDF version of that that you say that I wrote on shipping law and attach it with the email. Now imagine normally what people do, they just send like a template email along with like a CV, which is often like not properly drafted. Now this is on one hand, there is a mail like that, and there's another mail which gives the basic information, which college. I have received CVs which doesn't mention which college they are from. It's like third year, this much CV, the CGPA, but where is your college CV? Not in the cover letter. That just shows that you are completely like careless and casual, and these kind of things you can't make mistakes. By the way, there was a time in my third year I applied to 20 places, nobody replied. And I was like, what is happening? Why is nobody accepting, nobody replying? Then I opened my CV and I started proofreading it, and then I realized I have many mistakes in my CV. I was like, oh my God, I have made so many mistakes. Then I fixed it and again sent it out. I got replies. Some of the same places replied now, because HR managers, recruiting associates, whoever is there, they ignore emails and CVs that they can see that there are typos. They simply ignore. If they see there are grammatical mistakes, they'll ignore it, even if they open it. And now the problem is that in my time, actually, people still used to open their internship mails because not so many people applied for internships. Now there are so many applications that they are just flooded. They don't want to even open them. So you probably need to take other strategies also apart from just emailing your CV. You need to have some other strategies about how you're going to get an internship. That is like very necessary in today's time. Okay, one more thing I want to tell you, very important. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Ramanuj, you can. You take the second option, like on your left side, take the second option to your left, the green color button.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
It is, but it is. Yeah, it is.
I want to show you a tool called Enhance CV. Okay. And this creates one of the most beautiful CVs that I have seen in my life. Enhance CV, right? Can
Yes,
whoever
yes,
is watching this just go to
yes,
Enhance
Ramanuj, we
CV,
can
right?
see.
It's a beautiful kind of CV that it builds, right? It's really awesome CVs with pictures and graph and like graphs and extremely good kind of good looking CV, which will get attention of your target group. Fantastic. Like, see if you can make CVs using this tool, enhancing.com. Really, amazing. It tells a story. It's a very powerful way of telling a story, and it is not all text and boring CV. Rather, it's like a great CV, like fantastic, great looking CV you can create. So today, if I have to for some reason make my CV, I'll be making that using enhancing. Okay, so that's why I was sharing my screen.
That is perfect. That looks great and amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that information. Ramanuj, before we move further, we
Am I
have a lot
still
of
visible?
questions. Sorry?
Am I visible now, or is it the
Yes,
still
yes, 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 you're visible.
screen share is closed, right?
Yeah. All right. So, Ramanuj, we'll talk about a couple of other questions that people are asking. This is a question from Sunil Beniwal. His question is: Hello, sir. I'm a student of GNLU. My second year just got over. I want to specialize in one or two areas in corporate laws. I haven't studied any corporate law till yet. And so, according to you, what are the areas of corporate law which are high paying?
Okay, so some of the highest paying areas of corporate law would be one is corporate litigation. Okay, corporate litigation is the best paid today. Apart from that, there is obviously M&A, mergers and acquisitions is a very well paid area. Capital markets is also a well paid area. Banking, banking transactions, high value loans where they're being given out. So that is also banking law, basically transaction banking law. That is also a very good area of corporate law practice. Apart from that, restructuring there, insolvency is there. Insolvency and bankruptcy is a very highly sought after area. General corporate also. Apart from that,
Ramanuj, we lost you in the last bit.
I said also insolvency and bankruptcy law right now is very highly sought after. People get paid very well for this work. Investment law and banking has been like the bread and M&A investment and banking, right? Institutional financial deals. So these are the things that really make a lot of money. Also, I said restructuring is a fairly important area. Similarly, insolvency and bankruptcy, these are interesting practice areas that you can earn well good money. But I think if you have to pick something that you're going to spend your time on, then pick investment law. You can take PE investments, or you can take, maybe tax treatment of investments. You can take not, maybe venture capital investments. M&A is fantastic. You can take also like corporate litigation. So these are the things that you could start to build your expertise on.
Correct. Ramesh, the next question that I have is you mentioned that most of these law firms they are not open to even look at the CV at all because they are receiving up to 90,000 applications in a day. The question is again from Tushar Verma, who says that because the law firms open only the latest applications or any random applications that they might receive, is there any requirement of sending the application again and again? I might just add to it, or just following up on the application works.
in my opinion, it doesn't work. Like sending email to a law firm or even calling them does not work anymore. Okay, you have to take a different approach. So how do they log if they are not hiring from their email, looking at people's CV, then how are they actually hiring? So the best law firms are hiring their interns through reference. Okay, so somebody refers that this person is actually good. It could be your college's recruitment cell that will send you the best CVs. We send you 20 amazing CVs. You choose the 10 that you like out of there. Yes, that is one way. Or maybe a partner said that uh, I know this kid very good. Please take him. Yes, that is another way that they get interns, and these are the things that work. So what you can do here is that there are two options. One option is that you need to make good impression with lawyers who are working in these organizations. Somebody who can recommend you. Okay, it is not difficult. You can actually build it. Like one possible way that our students do it in our courses, we teach them how to do it. Basically, you write articles, publish, and then basically share it with top-notch lawyers, get their feedback, get their advice, go on informational interviews with top-notch lawyers, find mentors, make sure that you have 1 or 2 or 3 mentors who are guiding you, right? And then these people will recommend you. When you need internship, they'll recommend you, and you'll get it. So that is how it works. And imagine maybe you are writing one article every day or maybe one article every week, and every week you send it. You write article on, let's say you are writing on CPC. Okay, you're writing an article on CPC every week, one article, and then after writing, you share this with top-notch corporate litigators in India and ask for their opinion. That, sir, what can I improve? I wrote this article. Please let me know any comments you have. Please just read it once and please tell me what more topics I can write on. Okay. Just do this. If you do this 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, also they'll ignore you. But if you keep sending, eventually they're going to expect you that, oh my God, this person writes one article every day and good articles, and he's getting better and he's sending me and asking me. Eventually they'll take you seriously and they'll give you feedback. They'll appreciate you for it. In fact, you're not just spamming them, irritating them, right? Like, sir, internship de dijiye na, sir, help kar dijiye na. If you write that, then they will not. They'll get irritated, they'll block you. But if you're sending them good content, saying that, sir, I wrote this today, please see. They say that, wow, there is a 4th-year student in whatever university who's so hardworking, writing articles systematically, no star writing, those things, right? So when they need an intern, who do you think, won't they like to get you they look at you as talent. They'll not only want you as an intern, they'll want you as for that they will give you an internship so that they can hire you eventually. They can see you how good you really are, and then they'll eventually hire you. So these are the kind of strategies that work. These are not exactly easy strategies, but you have to put in the work.
All right,
programs through which we train. Several programs at LawSikho where we have these kind of exercises, these kind of systems through which we have a program called ACO internship. There we actually train people how to get internships in good places, and they are trained. They write articles, they plan for their interviews, they prepare themselves for the internship so that once they get the internship, they can execute so well that everybody is impressed and they stand head and shoulders above all the other interns. Okay, that kind of training we provide them. There's a course called ACO internship, and is that how do you network with lawyers before even you got the internship, so that you can get recommended to a good internship. You don't need your father's recommendations. You don't need your uncle to help you out. You can build your own network, people who respect you and like you, who are going to recommend you. And these people are your professional network for the life.
Got it. Ramanuj, the next question that I have from you is from the perspective of the final and the pre-final year students, or the students who've already graduated and do not have much time in hands to build their own CV. For them, how can they present whatever, and if they don't have a lot of achievements, what can they do to present themselves better so that it looks like they have a certain amount of expertise in certain fields?
So you have to write a coherent story. So if you're applying to a, sorry.
So for people who do not have a lot of achievements, or who do not have done a lot, who have not done a lot of work, how can they still showcase it on their CV if they do not have enough time to go ahead and achieve something in the course of time? Let's say the final year students or the students have already graduated.
If you don't have achievements, then don't waste your time sending that CV, because you'll not get picked. There are a lot of people who have achievements, they will get picked. So what you do is that, so we used to have this exercise for our students, okay? It's called a dream CV exercise, dream CV, okay? So what you do is you write your CV. Maybe you go to enhance CV and write a CV, which is not your CV as of now. It's not the achievements you already achieved. You write things that you want to achieve. Like if there is no problem, you can do anything you want to do. No resource problem, no connection problem, no recommendation problem. Like everything that you want to achieve, you have achieved. Let's say, but there is a time limit, 6 months or 1 year. Okay, then write down that what are those things in the CV. So this is your dream CV. This is not your CV. This is your dream CV. So write all those dreamy things in your CV and then look at the CV. When the CV is prepared, you show it to your mentor, and then you and your mentor sit down and discuss then what are the actions you can take in the next 6 months to achieve these things. Okay, so you take those actions. So you make a list that every week I'll do this. This month I'll do this. You make your plan and then you execute it one by one. And then you will realize that you have come very close to your dream CV. Maybe even if not the exact CV, a lot of things you have achieved. Don't tell me, how can I get a job without having any achievements in my CV? Still, I want an internship. Still, I want a job. I don't have these kind of magic tricks that, you can, I can tell you a little shortcuts that, okay, you write 20 articles. Like you want to be a tax lawyer, you want to work with some of the best tax lawyers in India. Write tax law, write 20 articles on tax law. Okay, I want to work in Amarchand Mangaldas, Sardula, Amarchand Mangaldas. Then decide that, okay, in corporate law, because they'll hire you mostly for corporate law. So, okay, take one area of corporate law, build serious experience, knowledge. Maybe take FDI and learn everything about FDI. Take investment law, learn everything about investment law. Take a course. We have a lot of courses that we offer where you can learn these things. Knowledge you can build up outside. Not what you're studying in college is not enough. There has to be a certain level of knowledge, because what you know in college, everybody knows. It does not make you stand out in any way. So you need to have something a little more. So that little more you can acquire that knowledge, and then you have to show it off. You have to show it off in your CV. You have to show it off in your interview. You have to show it off during your internship, and you have to have some real skills so that people will hire you, right? So that is it. Like, don't ask me without doing anything, how can I get internship? I have no answer for these questions.
Ramanuj, for the next question, can you tell us a little about this thing that you ran for a period of time called Dream Job Bootcamp? How was it effective, and how did it help people get a job in a long run?
So, it is something I realized while working on these courses. In 7 years I've been working. Somewhere at the 5-year mark, I realized that the one big challenge, even if people learn our courses, one big challenge is how do I get a job? Because that connection between knowledge and job is not happening. So I put in a lot of thought, a lot of research into it, and realized that what gets people job, like one thing that I can, basically the major reason that people don't get a job or an internship is because they cannot do the job. They don't have the intellectual capacity to do that job. Somebody's like, I want to work in a big law firm. Okay, great. Can you sit down and work for 12, 14 hours straight with a lunch break and whatever chai ka ek do break? But for 14 hours, can you work in a day? And if you have to do that kind of work day after day after day after day for months, can you sustain yourself? Do you have somebody who cannot write one paper or for their college submission in a month? Then also they ask for extension. How will that person work in a serial Amach and Mangaldas and write like 5 such papers in a single day? Or maybe write 2 such papers in a single day? You know, it's like you have 3 clients sitting on your head. You have to draft this, you have to do this, and then that, and then that, and then do due diligence report, and then you have to make sure everything is tallying. There's so much work that you are expected to do and not make mistakes. Cannot make mistakes. If you make mistakes, your boss will be shouting at you. He'll insult you maybe. Now, imagine somebody who cannot write one paper in a whole month, cannot study the syllabus and go, you know, doesn't have the discipline to read the book also. How is that person going to perform this much? It is a huge jump. You have to understand, huge jump. So the law firm will hire somebody who is used to that kind of rigorous work. Somebody who has shown promise that, you know, I can sit and work for. I have already been sitting and working for 8 hours a day or 5 hours a day. Now I have from there to 14 hours I'll manage. Okay, fine, great. Now we realize that we need to build that kind of intellectual rigor in the people that we train. So when we opened this Dream Job Bootcamp course, what we said is that, you know, you come to our office, sit in our office, and you have to write 2 articles every day. Okay, we'll give you the topic, you research and you write 2 articles. Because if you cannot write 2 articles in a day, which are like each of 2,000 words each, okay, like 4,000 words you cannot research and write of good quality content, then you cannot work in a law firm. But if you can do it, then you will get a job in a law firm. Like it is just like a foregone conclusion. Okay, so we had a few of the students who did this course, and then we discontinued it because it became very difficult for us to manage, because we had to give a lot of personal attention, and I had shifted out of Delhi. When we planned this course, I was in Delhi, but when it actually started, I was not able to stay in Delhi anymore. Because of that, all of the burden came on my partner Abhyuday, and it was difficult. Like he had to move around here, so we could not do. We felt that although everybody who took the course got a good job after that, everybody 100% success rate, but we were like, it's going to be a problem for us now, like to do this every time. So we stopped doing it. Okay, stopped doing it. But what we saw from that is that when people are writing, every day their knowledge goes up, and they're sharing these articles. And this is a formula I'm happy to tell everybody. You can do it at home. No problem, right? No need to pay us anything. You just follow this. You write 1 or 2 articles every day. You cannot write 2, at least write 1. Get feedback from a little smarter friend of yours who can give you feedback. Make sure it is properly proofread and everything. Then go and publish it somewhere. Anywhere you can publish it. Try that it should be like a decent place, so that some people can trust that there's a process of. Do not publish in law school journals and all.
Ramanuj, we have lost the connection. Can you hear me? Hello,
Simply publishing
Ramanuj, we can't
like
hear you properly. Hello,
blogs
hello,
that are read by more people.
Ramanuj. There's a lot of
You
congestion at your
can
end. We can't really understand what you're
publish
saying. Can you just stop and recheck the internet connection? Hello, Ramanuj, can you hear me? Hello, Ramanuj, can you hear me? Unfortunately, we have lost the connection, but never mind. It's not too late. We have almost discussed everything that was important for the session. Thank you so much for joining us today on An Hour with LawSikho. Joining us tomorrow is Anamika Pathak, who will be talking about a lot of things related to trust deeds, how to draft it, how to go about it. This is extremely relevant for those who want to make a good career into as an in-house counsel or into a law firm with real estate and property planning. A sphere that a lot of recruiters look at, a genre that a lot of recruiters look at. So join us tomorrow on another Classico. That's a wrap it for today. Ramanuj, thank you so much for joining us on another Classico. See you tomorrow again at 8 to 9 p.m. Navita signing off. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notification as we are going live every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9. Thank you so much for joining us on another Classico. Have
Thank
a
you.
great day.
Bye.
Thanks, Ramanuj.
Bye.
Thanks, Ramanuj.